Christian McCaffrey is officially a San Francisco 49er. If you would have woke up yesterday and told me that, I would have listened, but I don't know if I would have believed it. And here we are today, 24 hours later. Again, last night was absolutely crazy. If you're rocking with us, it was nuts. We were having a blast. But we're going to talk about all the things leading up to the trade, how the trade went down, what we heard from Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and Christian McCaffrey today, all the things in between, injury updates, and we're going to look forward to the Chiefs. But my goodness, it has been a wild 24 hours, and you already know the vibes. Drop that SDS in the chat. Let's get this thing rolling. You already know. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Let's go. We see the bread gang already jumping in here. Shout out to all the SDS. We see the squad out here active today. And of course, you already know we got to shout out the squad. What's good, everybody? I know you got a lot of you guys were rocking with me last night. It was a whirlwind and it was hella fun. We talked about it yesterday as well. Like when these types of situations go down, these are the types of situations and like moments like with big time roster moves that we're going to remember for a long time. Like I'm never going to forget where I was, what I was doing when the San Francisco 49ers extended Trent Williams in the middle of the night. I will never forget that. And I probably won't ever forget the 49ers trading for Christian McCaffrey. It was such an eventful experience. And again, if you were with us on the live, I think we had about 3,500 people watching at one time across all platforms, whether it was Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. It was nuts. But it was a blast, man. It was fun, man. It was absolutely fun. What's good to the squad? Shout out to all the Facebook gang jumping in here. We got numbers for Christian McCaffrey. We heard from Christian McCaffrey. We got to see Christian McCaffrey, and I'll pull up some visuals so you guys, we can all look at it together as always. But gotta shout out the squad as we get things started. Little Rock, Arkansas in the house. You'll love to see it. We got Jumpman in the building, number 23. It's Woo! West Memphis, Arkansas in the building. Look at the squad, man. Still excited. Absolutely. How could you not be? How could you not? It was fun, man. Let's see. Let's get into it. Let's take a look, shall we, at Christian McCaffrey rocking the number 23 in red and gold for the San Francisco 49ers. The first time we have put our eyes on it. It was a sight to see. Christian, man, back in the Bay Area. As you guys know, he's a former Stanford kid, played locally. Oh, we got everyone checking in too. We got Delaware, Kansas City, Houston, Northern Kentucky. We got Delaware tapping in. We got the whole squad. Manteca, Idaho, Nevada. We got the ATL, Hot Atlanta. Oh, we got people. We got squad everywhere, man. SDS all over the building. What's good, Justin? Yeah. Oh, we got Scotland. My brethren. Shout out to all the homies. Look, Sourdough Squad's deep, man. We're everywhere. We are everywhere. Look at the squad, man. Everyone's so excited with this news. It's really hard not to be. And let's face it, there aren't a whole lot of negatives to take away from this trade because The San Francisco 49ers, I know people see the second round, third round, and fourth round pick in 2023 given up and traded. We already know the first round's not there because that's in the Trey Lance deal. So a lot of people are like, man, we have no picks. We have no picks. You guys, we are getting a compensatory third rounder for Mike McDaniels being hired as a head coach. We're getting a compensatory third round pick for Martin Mayhew being hired as a general manager for the Washington Commanders. The 49ers still have multiple picks, and I think it was Jordan Elliott who tweeted that I think the 49ers still have 9 picks next year. So I know some people felt right out the gate like, oh man, it's hard to give up that draft capital, regardless if you're getting a superstar player like Christian McCaffrey. But at the end of the day, man, the 49ers still are loaded with picks. We got Australia checking in. We got Cheyenne checking in from Texas, North Carolina. Let's go. We got Pittsburgh. Look at the squad, man. We're everywhere. You cannot say the SDS ain't deep. We got we got people everywhere. Let's go, man. Shout out to all the squad. Shout out to SDS CMC squad, man. It's run CMC time out here. It's just a great time. Great time to be a San Francisco 49er fan. It's always we talked about this a lot yesterday, but when you see teams make a team make this type of move, this move tells us that they're trying to win this year. And we also got confirmation from Kyle Shanahan today that this isn't just a rental situation. This is a long-term plan that the San Francisco 49ers have in regards to Christian McCaffrey. He is going to be here for multiple years. He is not going to be a one and done type of guy. They have big plans for Christian McCaffrey. The one thing that Kyle Shanahan kept saying, because obviously Kyle and John had an opportunity to select Christian McCaffrey in the 2017 draft when they first took over. And we know they took the other Stanford guy. They took Solomon Thomas instead of Christian McCaffrey. But the way Kyle Shanahan was kind of prefacing it today was, hey, man, we wanted to make sure that we built that defense first before we got you over here. We wanted to make sure we built that defense before we got you in the building. So, man, whatever, I guess, if that's what if that's what it takes. But regardless, Christian McCaffrey is going to be a phenomenal piece for the 49ers. He has what it takes to be able to be an instant impact, and not only in the run game, but in the passing game. And we were watching some tape last night of his game against the Rams, and the way the Rams use him. They use him flexed out wide. They use him in bunch formations as a wide receiver. Oh, we got France checking in. Let's go. We're worldwide, baby. Shout out to SDS worldwide. I love that everyone's checking in, dropping where they're from. You love to see it. You love to see it. We got San Antonio checking in. I can't even keep up. Can't even keep up with you guys in the chat. But the 49ers have such a big time opportunity with CMC and what he brings to the table. And it does sound like Christian McCaffrey is going to play. It sounds like we're going to get some CMC action this Sunday against the Chiefs. I would be shocked to see if he wasn't out there. Again, he was practicing today, rocking the number 23. A lot of questions about what number he was going to wear. 23, Marlon Mack's old number. Not too, I think it looks good. So used to seeing him in the 22, but I think he's going to make that 23 look good very quickly. But we did, where's that update? I think it's, is it this update? So this is from Jordan Schultz earlier today. He was reporting, and he's a very credible reporter. He says there is a pretty good chance that 49ers Christian McCaffrey will play this weekend against the Chiefs. He is expected to be deployed around the end zone. So I totally imagine that we are going to see Christian McCaffrey suit up against the Chiefs, and that is going to be absolutely exciting to be able to see him out here rocking with the Niner gang. It just feels like, and by the way, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch talked about it today. Kyle Shanahan said he had players hitting him up all night. He also, John Lynch said when Christian McCaffrey walked into the locker room, the entire locker room got a jolt of energy. It sounds like this team is very receptive to this move because we did talk about again last night this move and what it symbolizes. It symbolizes that the 49ers are trying to win this year, not next year, not the year after that. And of course, they're always going to, but they're putting the chips into the middle and they're saying this year, we are going to go all in. And I think the players have responded favorably to that. There was a video going around of Drake Jackson and his response, clearly hyped when he found out. So the 49ers are going to be in good shape. Kamara says, thank you for the super chat. Says, walks out with Debo, CMC, and Trent to Kodak soon. Yes, that is going to be loading very, very soon. And I am looking forward to that. Can you imagine? Also, let's get into some injury news, shall we? Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, not on the injury report. I repeat, Nick Bosa and Trent Williams are not on the injury report. That means, guess what? We get our boys back against the Chiefs. Trent will be back. Also, Bosa, of course, but good news. With Charvarius Ward, he was listed as questionable, and Nick Wagner posted a video of him running. I didn't see, just using my own two eyes, I did not see any real limitations from Charvarius Ward in the way he was moving. Again, it was a small clip, and we're not going to get the full breadth of what it takes to get ready for game day. But considering he has a groin and considering Charvarius Ward was moving well, this is a revenge game for Charvarius Ward. Got to get Ward back. So that is very positive news regarding the 49ers cornerback one and against his old team. So he wants to get ready for this game. He wants to be available. He wants to play. So this is all phenomenal news. Pretty much anyone who's on the injury report, Jimmy Ward got taken off the injury report. So it does sound like Jimmy Ward will be out there with the club playing. Not only Jimmy Ward, but guys earlier in the week like Samson Ebukam, Mike McGlinchey, Drake Jackson, who kind of popped up on the injury report. They all look like they're good to go. So it doesn't sound like Jason Verrett. In fact, Kyle Shanahan said Jason Verrett will not be up this weekend against the Chiefs. And so, I don't think any of us are holding our breaths, waiting to see if, Jason Verrett will be able to play. He's, again, considered to be a luxury in my eyes. So if he's available, cool. But if he's not, I'm okay. The big thing is Charvarius Ward, and it sounds like Charvarius Ward will be back. There is an update on Hufanga. Hufanga was practicing today in the blue non-contact jersey. He has one more hurdle to go through to be able to fully clear the concussion protocol. So that will happen tomorrow. So likely we'll get an update Saturday letting us know Talanoa Hufanga, he cleared the concussion protocol, will play on Saturday or Sunday. I'm sorry. So good news for the most part, considering the just tidal wave of injuries that the San Francisco 49ers seemingly suffered leading into Atlanta and coming out of Atlanta. It sounds like a lot of guys are coming back and they are going to be at full force heading into this game against the Chiefs. And not only that, you add Christian McCaffrey into the mix. It's an exciting time. I know for myself personally, heading into this week, I have my questions about what 49er team we're gonna see in the sense of who shows up. Like, are we gonna get that Atlanta Falcons kind of energy and vibe from the 49ers offense? Are we gonna get more of that week 4, week 5 vibe from the 49ers offense? Like, which one are we gonna get? With Christian McCaffrey coming in, I think everyone is going to be locked in, ready to go. They know what this move means. Eric Davis, former 49ers cornerback, he won the Super Bowl with the 49ers, former All Pro. He was in my live last night on Instagram, and he was talking about, like, because I was Charles Omenihu dropped into the live as well. And I was just kind of asking the question, like speaking out loud, like, man, I wonder how these players perceive these moves. Like, when you're in the locker room, you get an update just like everyone else from Adam Schefter that the 49ers go out and make this move for Christian McCaffrey. Like, what's the perception in the locker room? And ED said, man, it doesn't matter, man. When an organization goes out and gets a caliber player like Christian McCaffrey, everyone's excited. Everyone's hyped, even if they went after a guy in your same position group, because you know what it means, you know what it stands for. So and again, that's what John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan both spoke to today about how the locker room and everyone was extremely receptive to Christian McCaffrey being on this roster. So I think the 49ers are going to show up with some juice on Sunday against the Chiefs. You got the perfect storm. You got Harbaugh in the building. You got the 2012 49er team in the building, Patrick Willis. All the legends are going to be there. You now add Christian McCaffrey. Now the excitement around Christian McCaffrey, there's not this like doom and gloom kind of hanging over, the 49ers heading into this game. And I think that's enough to really kind of energize this team moving forward. So I'm very excited about this edition, and I really do think it's going to be an absolute shot of energy moving forward. Very pleased with this move. And again, being able to sleep on it, spend some time, process it, think about it, look at more of the details. This is a good move for the 49ers. They really, come on, a second, third, and fourth, like, that's not bad. It's really not. I mean, when you look at, from a perspective of, like, listen, Trey Sermon was a third round pick. Where's Trey Sermon? Joe Williams was a fourth round pick. Where's Joe Williams? Look at George Kittle, fifth round pick. Dre Greenlaw, fifth round pick. Talanoa Hufanga, fifth round pick. Like, this team, and they have multiple compensatory thirds. Who's a third round pick? Fred Warner. So yes, it's harder to hit on the later round picks, but they still have draft capital that they will be able to use and will be able to supplement their roster. But it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. And, hey, man, we know what the vibes are. I'm loving the philosophy right now. The philosophy of F them picks. We do not care. We are trying to win right now, and that's what matters most. So I'm excited with the way this organization is moving. I'm loving the decision-making processes to continue to uh, inject supreme elite talent into the roster. Like, you cannot be upset about that. You just really can't. I thought it was interesting because I know a lot of the conversations that people will have about this is like, well, he's been injured before. I did think it was interesting that he really didn't get hurt at Stanford, and also Kyle Shanahan said when they were scouting him, he had the best injury grade out of anyone coming out of the draft. So now he ran into some injuries in 2020 and 2021. But so far through 6 weeks, he's been healthy. He's been moving well. Again, you turn on that Rams tape and he's doing all different types of things. He's running over safeties. He's making people miss. He looks really good. So it's going to be so much fun, man, to watch just to watch Kyle Shanahan, like, with a guy that has such elite athletic traits, because when we look at, I think not I think, John Lynch kind of hinted at it as well. Oh, what's this? Oh, gosh, what a ha listen, hold on a second. 49ers dropped, hold on a second. 49ers dropped. Let's look at the boy. I mean, this is just crazy, man. Like, I know we talked about it. The fact that it actually went down and it happened is insane. But this is what the 49ers just dropped on Twitter. Look at how clean it just looks right. It just like it looks meant to be. Look at him, man. So inspirational. Look at Christian McCaffrey, dog. Legend. Absolute legend. Let's shoot a little retweet. Look at that. I mean, what Kyle's going to be able to do from a schematic standpoint, and it's not just about Christian McCaffrey either. I think Christian McCaffrey being in this offense is going to open up so many different things for other guys, because when we look at George Kittle, whenever George Kittle goes out for a route concept over the middle, he's instantly bracketed. He has two people. He's got either a safety or a linebacker on either side of him. And it's really hard to get him open sometimes because, let's face it, defenses aren't respecting the running backs that they have, or maybe guys like, Juwan Jennings as much. But you put Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, and CMC on the field at one time, that makes it extremely difficult. Hell, if you even put those four plus Jeff Wilson, or those four plus Elijah Mitchell, that is going to put defenses in a bind where they are not going to know who the hell they need to key on. And especially if you move these guys all over the formation, which they're going to, all the window dressing on the front end, all the pre snap motions, all the different alignments they're going to be able to show, all the personnel groupings, it is going to make defensive coordinators lose sleep at night. And they are going to get they're going to get linebackers out of position, safeties out of position. They're not going to know who to key on. And then the San Francisco 49ers are just going to sneak everything through the back door. And we know that's how Kyle wants to operate. And now you add this guy to the mix, this guy, Christian McCaffrey, who can do everything. He's an elite wide receiver. He's an elite running back. Like, he could literally be an elite slot receiver in the NFL. So this is huge. From a schematic standpoint, he's a leader, if you think about it from that standpoint. I saw a video circulating of Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle at a Kygo concert earlier this year. So they have a relationship. Christian's already one of the boys, man. He's already one of the boys. We know what the relationship is between both John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan that goes back years and years and years. John Lynch was talking about today. He's like, man, I remember going to frat parties with Ed McCaffrey and his wife when they were dating. Like, the cosmic connection here. It's like, I forget. I think it was when Aponte was on. I think we were talking about vibe. Like, you can't measure it, but you can't ignore it. Like, how do you quantify like a vibe? How do you quantify and measure those types of things? Well, this is one of those situations that it's so vibey. There's so much energy and like just like things aligning. It just feels like it's going to be a special situation. So I'm really excited for it. And I think, like I said, we're going to see him against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs have a pretty stout defense. They have a lot of good weapons. They've got guys like rookie George Karlaftis, who's pretty darn good. Chris Jones, who's probably one of the best defensive players in the NFL right now. We know who Frank Clark is. Nick Bolton is a really good middle linebacker. Carlos Dunlap is no slouch either. They also got the other rookie, Leo Chanel, who's pretty damn good. Justin Reed, one of the better young safeties in the NFL. So they have some talent on that defense. This makes them so exponentially faster than, let's say, having a Jeff Wilson or a TDP on the field. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think what's going to be a lot of fun too is how they use Kyle Juszczyk, because I always forget about Kyle Juszczyk. Like, he just popped into my brain right now because I'm talking about Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, CMC. But what about Kyle Juszczyk? We know Kyle Juszczyk, he's a weapon. He doesn't get utilized a whole lot, but he can he can be another element to all this stuff, man. Like, we know Kyle Juszczyk is a chess piece. When you look at these guys, it's an offense full of positionless players. And Kyle is got all the tools now. In one sense, maybe more pressure, more expectations is going to be put on Kyle Shanahan, but I think that's the way we want it. I think we want more expectation on Kyle Shanahan and give him the weapons, give him the tools, and let's watch him work and let's see if the offense evolves as a result. So I'm pretty excited, man. Let me know how you're feeling in the chat. Last night was a freaking whirlwind. Um, I literally walked in the door from my son's basketball practice. Frickin' Adam Schefter tweet pops up. I'm like, is this real? Am I being trolled right now? What the hell is going on, man? And this is a good point too. We can look a year ahead. Um, when you get Trey Lance back, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's they're going to run a lot of stuff out of shotgun, things like that. It's going to be a pretty special situation. Let's see. Lisa says, I am drooling with the potential of this offense. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited. I don't think we're gonna see its full potential this week, but I do like Christian McCaffrey's mentality about this. When asked like about playing this Sunday, he's like, "This is just a road game for me." He's like, "I got two practices in this week. I've traveled." He's like, "This is a road game for me." Um, and he's a smart kid. So he's going to be able to uh I think, integrate pretty quickly into this offense. I really don't think it's going to be that difficult for him. Callie says last night was like 49ers content after hours. Everyone went live. Yeah, everyone was on. It was a good time, dude. It was a good time. Everyone was vibing. It was really great to see. Um, just the whole 49ers community, because let's face it, the 49ers community has been a bit fractured ever since the Jimmy Trey situation. Like, people don't know who to root for, people don't know who to like, and they start picking sides, and then it turns into arguments and things like that. But this is like one of those moments and one of those moves that kind of galvanizes the whole fan base together. And let's face it, it's been rare to see that. We haven't seen that too often in the past 2 years. So I cherish those moments when we can all be excited together, and we can just vibe, just have a good time. We are just so hyped about the news. And that's some of the funnest parts of doing content and being able to talk about all this stuff with you guys. It's been a blast. Hold on, I'll make a post. Man, I can't believe it. I don't know. Do you think the 49ers are done? Do you think the 49ers try to add some more pieces? Or do you think they are content with where they stand? I don't know. I could see them being continuing to be aggressive, but we'll see. We will see. Hold on one second. Oh, more. Give us more. Hey man, if it gives us more late night vibes, if it gives us more late night gang streams, if it gives us more uh all of that, I'm down. Let's go. Let's keep stacking. Trade for Brian Burns. I think, unfortunately, as you know, I'll say this as the leader of the Brian Burns hive, because let's keep it 100. We know where the Brian Burns hive starts and stops, and that's right here. I don't think the 49ers are going to be trading with Brian Burns or trading to get Brian Burns. The Panthers GM today spoke and said, "We are not trading Brian Burns. Those are pieces that you build around." So as much as I would love to see it, I don't think it's going to happen. So it was a fun year, fun off season that we were able to just kind of go down that Brian Burns rabbit hole. And it was cool to see kind of everyone else kind of vibe with it too. But I don't know. I don't know if Brian Burns is is gonna be traded at this point. He seems like a building block for them. But I love that. And we haven't even talked about it yet either. We haven't even talked about it. Um, it was discussed earlier today that there were three hard offers. There were three hard offers made for Christian McCaffrey. One of them being the 49ers, one of them being the Rams, and the other being the Bills. That's huge. That is huge. The San Francisco 49ers straight blocked the Rams from getting Christian McCaffrey. They said they did the Mutombo finger wave, like, no, 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 not today. Um, and that's fun because we heard earlier in the week and last week Matthew Stafford thought he's going to be a 49er, all that type of stuff. And we know what happened as a result. But we saw Christian McCaffrey go ball out against the Rams. And then what we've heard is that the Rams, after that game, they're like, well, crap. Do you see how well he just played? Like, maybe we should go get him. And you look at, they have Cam Akers. They're trying to trade him. Darrell Henderson isn't a true number one workhorse running back, and they don't got a whole lot. So they're like, oh, we need something. We need something to help us. And John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan said, not today. We are not letting Christian McCaffrey go be a Ram. He is going to come to the 49ers. He's coming back to the Bay Area. And not only did we swoop Christian McCaffrey from the Rams, we swooped their slogan. We swooped their slogan too. The Rams are taking L's left and right. Uh, and I'm here for it. I am absolutely here for it. Due diligence season turned into straight fire season, man. Uh, let's see. This is from Jeff Wilson Jr. Right now, David Lombardi's talking to Jeff Wilson Jr. in the locker room. He says, if it's a check, take it to the bank. Or no. Let me reset. He says, if it's a check, take it to the back of the room and cash it. We've got the best running back group in the NFL, and that's the bottom line. Hey, Hefe, I don't think you're lying, man. I don't think Hefe's lying. When you look at Jeff Wilson, you look at um, uh, Elijah Mitchell coming back. You look at Kyle Juszczyk. 49ers have some good running backs. They have some good running backs. They're getting healthy at the right time. And as long as they can stay healthy and they can get into the bye, I mean, worst case scenario, they split with Chiefs Rams. Worst case scenario, they split. Best case scenario, they beat Chiefs, they beat Rams, go into the bye 5-3, and then the final leg of the season begins. Christian McCaffrey is completely onboarded, knows the playbook, and you're ready to rock against the Chargers week 10. And then it's if you can win out of this division, you beat the Rams week 8. You beat the Cardinals week 11. Though you saw Kyler Murray last night. You saw Mighty Mouse yelling at his head coach. I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury is gonna last. I don't know. So, and that's a good thing going for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the Saints beat themselves with the 2 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, and really put themselves out of that game. They look beatable. 49ers played the Saints week 12. So you look week 15, Seahawks again, and you finish the season in week 18 against the Cardinals. If you just stick in division and you win every division game from here on out, book a trip to the playoffs. The 49ers are going to the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. They could lose to the Chiefs. They could lose to the Chargers. They could lose to the Saints. They could lose to the Dolphins. They could lose to the Bucks. They could lose to the Commanders, and they could lose to the Raiders. But if they beat the Rams one time, the Seattle Seahawks one time, and they sweep the Cardinals as well, they're going to the freaking playoffs. So those are the games. I know I want the 49ers, and Jason Aponte made a great point about this when we did a state of the franchise. Like, for my mental health, I want the 49ers to beat the Chiefs, but they got to win these divisional round games. They got to beat the Rams. They got to beat they got to beat the Seattle Seahawks, and they have to beat the Cardinals. And if they could do just that, they are in the playoffs. Now, obviously, if the 49ers are losing to all those other teams, like, it's probably not going to be a great spot, but I think you understand the point that I'm making, that they just have to take care of the division. They could drop a game here or there outside the division, and we could be okay with it. We could live through it. If they win in division, they control their own destiny, and we already know what the vibe is. Get into the playoffs, and it's a new season from there on out. And you get Ayuk cooking, you get Kittle cooking, you get Devo, CMC, Elijah Mitchell back. The whole gang's getting healthy. That's a good spot to be in. So I'm really excited for the outlook of this year. We already knew we just needed these guys to get healthy a little bit, and it does feel like we're getting that. So I'm pretty excited, man. I think, I was feeling, like I said, I was feeling a little down earlier in the week about the Chiefs game, just a little less optimistic, but I'm not going to lie. The fact that the 49ers did what they did, got CMC, even if CMC is only in for a couple plays, only gets a couple carries, anything like that, it's still just an electric, like, Levi's is going to be popping. I don't know if any of you guys are going to the game this weekend. I can already sense the electricity that is going to be buzzing through Levi's Stadium on Sunday against the Chiefs. Like, I can feel it. Like, a lot of people might not like the stadium or have bad things to say about the stadium, but when the faithful are buzzing inside that stadium, it is loud. It is electric. It is a very difficult environment to play in. I'll never forget when I was at the NFC Championship game in 2019 against the Green Bay Packers. I'm a Warriors fan, so I've been to a ton of games at Oracle Arena. You go to Oracle Arena, whether the Dubs were good or bad, you knew it was going to be a loud ass game. And when the Dubs made it to the playoffs, I remember that I think it was that 2015 year, 2014 maybe the year before, when they had just like finally got good enough to make the playoffs. I went to the round 1 game. I think it was against Houston, at Oracle Arena. I've never been in a louder sporting event Like my ears, like the every play, every shot, every stop, the Oracle was going nuts because they hadn't been we hadn't been good in so long. And when we had got into there, it was nuts. Everyone was going crazy. The point of the story is that a couple years later, 2019 NFC Championship game at Levi Stadium. At one point, I'm sitting in section 222 in Levi's, and it's a third down. Aaron Rodgers trying to complete a pass to extend a drive. Entire Levi Stadium is at full throat. My ears were ringing. Like my ear, I was like, I've never experienced the sensation before where it was so loud, I could feel my eardrums vibrating. That was at Levi Stadium. Like that place can get loud. When you get 49er fans hyped up, we already know how passionate of a fan base we are. We travel everywhere. So you give us something to get excited about, they're going to be loud. They're going to be crazy. So again, little bit of tempered feelings heading into this Chiefs game. I really do think this CMC thing just sends a message. I think the faithful see it. They're going to feel it, and when they get into that stadium, I think it's going to be electric. I really do. I feel like the faithful are going to show up, and they're going to be extremely loud this Sunday, and I'm looking forward to it. So best believe I'm going to be there. I'm not going to miss that for nothing. So very excited. I think it's going to be. I think I think this move injected a lot of energy into the locker room, into the organization, and into the fan base. And sometimes you just need that little push. You just need that little push over the edge, and this might be it. So once this team starts clicking, once they start developing their identity and they start getting into a rhythm, watch out because right now Jimmy Garoppolo is playing pretty good football. He's not playing Patrick Mahomes football. He's not playing, you know, he's not a top 5 quarterback, but we don't need Jimmy Garoppolo to be a top 5 quarterback. We don't need that. We really don't. When you have an elite defense, you have a good running game, you have yak weapons everywhere. What we need from Jimmy Garoppolo is for him to be a facilitator. Get the football into your playmakers' hands, whether it's short to intermediate, whether it's in the flats, tunnel screens. Like, I don't need Jimmy Garoppolo to be Patrick Mahomes, escaping out of the pocket, throwing off his back foot 30 yards opposite side field, like opposite side hash. Like, I don't need that. We don't need that. We need this team to play complementary football, run the football, get first downs, churn clock, score points. Number one, score points, get some explosive plays. And if the 49ers can get into this complementary type of football against the Chiefs, because let's face it, that's what it's going to take. The 49ers are going to have to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. That is going to be part of the defense. Part of their defense is going to be good offense, because if they can maintain drives and they can get multiple first downs per possession, they're going to be able to milk clock, and guess what they're going to be able to do? They're going to get the defense tired, and secondly, they're going to keep old Patrick Mahomes over there on the sideline, and that's what the 49ers need. And so if they can continually do that, not for one quarter, not for 2 quarters, not for 3 quarters, for 60 minutes, and then you pass it back to the defense, and then the Chiefs get into situations where they have to move quickly, and then you can get Nick Bosa working, and you can get this pass rush going. That's the recipe I think it's going to take for success. You're going to have to be able to stay on the field offensively, and if that takes Christian McCaffrey being involved, Deebo Samuel, whatever it takes, extend drives, get first downs, keep Patrick off the field. And then when the defense is on, pin your ears back and get after the quarterback. The 49ers have an opportunity to make the Chiefs one-dimensional on offense. They have an opportunity to shut down Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They have an opportunity to shut down Jet McKinnon. I really don't think this is gonna. I hope I'm not gonna jinx it, so I'm not gonna say it. I hope this isn't a Jet McKinnon revenge game. But ultimately, the 49ers have potential to make this put it all on the arm of Patrick Mahomes. Now, out of any quarterback in the league, that's a good spot for the Chiefs to be in, considering we know what Patrick Mahomes is capable of. But when you look at their wide receivers, you look at Juju Smith Schuster, Marquez Valdez Scantling, McCole Hardman, Sky Moore. They're good wide receivers, but you get Charvarius Ward back in a revenge game for himself, and you get him erasing one of their top targets on the outside. You get Jimmy Ward back because we all know it's going to be the Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce show. So the 49ers have to sell out to erase Travis Kelce. That's why Jimmy Ward coming back with the club, I think it makes it more iconic that Jimmy Ward's coming back with the big ass club. We need him on Travis Kelce. When you look at Jimmy Ward historically throughout his career, he can erase top tight ends because he's a phenomenal man coverage safety, whether that's playing in the slot, on tight ends, because they're going to move Travis Kelce out into the slot. They're going to move him out, have him, up as a, wide, basically a big slot. The fact that you can potentially run three safeties out on the field. We know how it's been. Tashawn Gibson has been doing a really good job playing single high on the back end of the defense. Talanoa Hufanga kind of plays in the middle of the field and around the line of scrimmage. But if you can also bring back Jimmy Ward to play more of a coverage role on Travis Kelce, and you bracket Travis Kelce with Ward and Fred Warner, that's a hard combo to mess around with. Now we know Travis Kelce is probably playing at the highest level for a tight end from a receiving standpoint. So it's going to be a difficult task. But if you can make this team one-dimensional, force them to pass, then when they get into passing situations, you take away Travis Kelce and you force Patrick Mahomes to beat you with Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and McCole Hardman. I feel like that gives them a much better opportunity to win this football game. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we get here, man. It's a big game. It's a big measuring stick game. Are the 49ers for real? Because we already know the Chiefs are one of the jewels of the NFL, the prized gems. Um, sorry, I saw an update. Nothing new. Just want to double check. They're one of the prized jewels of the NFL. And if the 49ers can take them down, we already know the perception switch that will occur as a result. Whether it's media, whether it's the fan base, doesn't matter. There will be a perception shift, and it will be fantastic. It will be phenomenal. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them into the chat. Wait, it's Friday. It's Friday. Our week's all messed up. Normally Friday is prediction. We'd normally do prediction Friday. So let's do prediction Friday. Let's see how people are feeling after the acquisition of Christian McCaffrey. Drop your score predictions in the chat. Drop your score predictions in the chat for 49ers Chiefs this Sunday. I want to see what you guys think. Let's see. Because this is I think it could go multiple different ways. But you already know what to do. Drop all your score predictions in the chat. Let me see what you got. We'll pull them up and we'll take a look. I want to see what you guys are thinking from a score perspective against the Chiefs this weekend. Roman says, don't care. Just give me a W. It could be the ugliest game in the world. It could be a 1-point game. Don't care. Give me the dub. I mean, I kind of agree with that. But let's see. First one off the bat. No, this was the first one off the bat. Russell says San Francisco 49ers 27. Kansas City Chiefs 20. Oh, Daniel's going for the blowout over the Chiefs 31-10. Alex says up by 7. 23-14 from Howard. Ryan says 36-14 Niners. 28-25 Niners win. Something tells me it's going to be one of those close games. I appreciate scores like this, 42-23. Oh, we got a Kansas City W in the chat. First one, 10-9, low scoring affair. 31-17 Niners. I do feel like it's going to be a close game. 23-22, 28-24. It really does feel like maybe it could be a tie game throughout, or like a last minute field goal seals the win. It really just feels like it's who's going, obviously cliche to say, whoever executes the best is going to win the game, of course. But whoever executes down the stretch the best, and we know the 49ers have had a hard time executing down the stretch. But if we get this game, the 49ers' chances to win this battle against the Chief goes up quite a bit. We got 24-21. Vishal says 24-20. This is a 5-3 score. 24-17 Niners from Cheyenne. 31-17. 21 SF, 16 KC. Dynamite Dave, I like that name, says I think it's going to be close, but I still have KC winning. So we got a 49er fan. You see the Justin Smith. I see the Justin Smith profile picture. Justin Smith profile picture picking the Kansas City Chiefs to win 27-23. Listen, I'm not going to be mad at it. Kansas City Chiefs, they're still a really good team. 34-30. The Kansas City Chiefs are coming into this game 4-2, and the last loss that they had was a battle against the Bills, who are probably considered the best team in the NFL right now. Chris says 34-31, 49ers over Chiefs. CMC makes a critical, bigger impact than people think. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that's right. Tristan says Niners 24-21. Troy says 38-35, 24-14. Niners win 26-24. I don't know what the over-under is. I don't know if it's... Wow. So based on the ESPN matchup predictor, the ESPN matchup predictor is essentially giving the Kansas City Chiefs a 70% chance to win over the 49ers. That's what ESPN believes. ESPN believes that the Chiefs have a 70% chance of beating the San Francisco 49ers. The over-under is 49. Over-unders 49. Kansas City's -2 on the spread. So, hey, ESPN doesn't have much faith in us, man. Fear the Great says, I think the Niners should go for Sue. Hey, Eric Armstead is out. Javon Kinlaw's on IR. So they may need to be looking for defensive tackle help here pretty soon, for sure. Sign OBJ. You know what? I'm actually okay if they don't sign OBJ, but he says let's really go all in. I can understand it, but I really think with Debo Samuel and like getting Christian McCaffrey, he's essentially another wide receiver. I just think at that point there's just so many mouths to feed that I don't know. Like it already seems like you can get the sense that Brandon Ayuk wants more touches. So if you bring in OBJ, and he's probably going to cost a decent amount, and he might sign with the Chiefs here pretty soon. I don't know. I think I'm okay with the 49ers not going after OBJ. But he says, and I got the Niners in a New Orleans style win. So a shootout, basically, with Jimmy having 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Oh boy. We get one of those. That would be nice. That would be nice. Thank you for the super chat. Fear the Great. Appreciate you. Here's some more score predictions. Our revenge game. Yeah. I could use a nice healthy serving of revenge against these Kansas City Chiefs. These sons of guns. These mother stinkers. Let's get. Oh, wow. Chiefs only scored 3 points. Oh, this is. If we got a 45-42 matchup, that would be nice. If we got just an offensive performance, that would be dope. 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, 38-35, 24-20, 35-21. Justin says Chiefs 35, Niners 35, Chiefs 17, 31-28 from Dan. Adam says 24-21 KC. Just to make sure not everyone says 49ers for good luck. I appreciate that. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of where I went earlier this week. I was like, you know what? I still, of course, want the 49ers to win, but I feel like I was too confident last week and it might have backfired a little bit. So maybe some reverse jinx could be in order. So if you pick Chiefs, I'm not going to be upset. We could use some of that reverse jinx energy. Peter says Niners 31, Chiefs 27, 31-28, 21. So it does feel like the majority, I would say the heavy majority do believe it's going to be a close game. Whether it's a 3-point game, 4-point game, it feels like most people after overtime. Oh, if we got an overtime game, that would be sick. But it does feel like it's going to be a close one. Yes, Charvarius Ward got a limited participant today at practice. Charvarius Ward was limited today. These are the guys. It just came out right now from Matt Barrows. These are the players that practice in full, which means they are playing. Nick Bosa, groin, in full. Samson Ebukam, Achilles, practiced in full. Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, Drake Jackson, Tyler Kroft, Mike McGlinchey, Trent Williams, Charlie Warner, all practice in full. Great news. I don't know how. It feels like everyone knew Chiefs week was going to be a big week. And they're like, you know what? We're all dinged up a little bit, but we somehow got to get all back onto the field against the Chiefs. And perfect timing, man. Excited to get Trent Williams back out there. Excited to definitely get the offensive line kind of more complete in the sense of what we think and believe it should be. Football Fanatic says y'all ain't winning. I like that energy. That's fine. That's fine. I like it. I want more of it, actually. 24-17. 37-27, 23-20. So yeah, it does feel like it will be a close game. Ooh, I like this one. Bosa over under 2 sacks. Let's see. The offensive line that the Chiefs will be putting out onto the field consists of Andrew Wiley at right tackle. To be honest, don't know a whole lot about him. In fact, know nothing. So I'm just going to connect the dots and say he's not very good just because I don't. Orlando Brown. We do know that the Chiefs made a big trade to get him over there. But they, of course, have Creed Humphrey at center, Trey Smith, who's been pretty solid for them, and they added Joe Thuney. So they have a pretty good offensive line. That's not bad. So over under, I'm gonna go with some more reverse jinxing here. Because I said Charles Omenihu was going to have 2 sacks last week. Charles Omenihu had 1 sack. So I'm going to take the under. And this is, again, reverse energy jinx. I'm going to take the under with 1 sack. Bosa's going to have 1 sack. No, I'm going to take the under with 1.5 sacks. Bosa's going to have 1.5 sacks with the hope that we're putting it out there into the universe that he comes out and explodes for over 2. But I'm going to take the under at 1.5. I think he'll get to Patty. I think he will. And I think they'll have a lot of people around the quarterback at a lot of times. This is an interesting question. Foxy says, Brad, should we trust Kyle Shanahan? In what sense do you mean trust? Feels like trust is a loaded word for a head coach. In what sense do we mean trust? Do we trust that Kyle is going to put the 49ers in the best position to win? Do we trust that Kyle is going to close out games in the second half? Do we trust that Kyle is going to not, bleed the clock in the fourth quarter down by 2 scores? I think it depends on what the definition of trust we're talking about. But there's enough trust. Mark says Brad sounded like Draymond. What is trust? Touche. Good call. That's funny. That's hilarious. Good call. Touche. Nice work. What is the definition of trust? I trust Kyle enough to go get a win. Now, does that mean it's going to be perfect? Do I trust Kyle to call a perfect game? Do I trust Kyle to play a full 60 minutes? Maybe not, but I do trust him enough that he can get a win. I trust him to that extent. I might not trust that, hey, someone asked, do you think he's going to play from the first whistle to the last whistle and just has flawless execution for 60 minutes? Probably not. But as long as he puts in, he's capable enough that if he can play and stay competitive, start to finish, absolutely, I trust him to win and be able to win. For sure. So, I'm definitely not as down as other people are on Kyle. I have my questions. I have my concerns. I have my critiques of Kyle for sure. Definitely, after last year heading into this year, I have critiques. I don't think he's above above that at all this year. But I'm also not as down as some other people are. So I trust them enough to get a W. That's for sure. Um, so I'm excited. I think there's a good opportunity ahead of the 49ers. I think that they, with this piece, it's really going to just inject some life back into this roster again, getting guys back. I know it's been weird for you guys as well, but it's been weird to see Debo not with Trent Williams walking out of the tunnel. It just looks weird. Like I think that you get those guys back. You get Bosa back. You get let's see. That's 3 captains that they get back. Nick Bosa, captain. Trent Williams, captain. Jimmy Ward, captain. They get 3 out of their 6 captains back. That's pretty big. 2 of them being on defense, 1 of them being your all-world left tackle. So I think that will have an impact on the game moving forward. But I'm pretty happy. I think we're in a good spot. I think we're absolutely in a good spot moving forward. Getting healthy at the right time. You have guys stepping up like Drake Jackson, who's been playing really well. Samson Ebukam has been able to create lots of pressure. Same with Charles Omenihu. So I feel, and Travarius Ward should be back. CMC is live. Like he's on Instagram live. He's not live. I was about to hop in right away. Like, oh, he's live. Let's go. He's not. False alarm, people. They baited us. They baited us. How dare they? So, am I going to the game? Yes, I'm going to the game. And I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun game. I really do believe that. I think this is going to, as they say, get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a good one. So, definitely looking forward to this weekend, especially with all the stuff, man. It's going to be a good time. Do a live at the live. I'll be live at the stadium. What we typically I'll do. No, how does it work? When I'm at the stadium, I do an Instagram live after the game. I'll do an instant reaction video from the game. But I typically don't do the live until I get home, which sucks because I live hella far away from Levi's, so it takes me hella long. But it's all good. But anyways, if you guys go to the game, you see me there, say what's good. I'm gonna be in my element. I'm gonna be in content mode. So feel free to say what's up. Always looking to say what's good to the SDS. I'll be in straight up content mode, but you come say what's up. Definitely love to see you, chat with you guys. But I think that's gonna be it for today. What an eventful 24 hours, man. I haven't bought tickets yet, so I don't know exactly where I'll be. I'll be floating though. I like to float. So appreciate you guys as always tapping in. It's been again a whirlwind up until this point. wild 24 hours. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. I'm really tired, and I can tell it's like messing with me. I'm like mid-sentence, my brain is going blank because I think I'm just so tired because I was up. I could not sleep last night. I was I was too hyped. I think I even tweeted like, John Lynch, how do you expect me to sleep tonight? Like, what the heck, man? I can't fall asleep. Like, I'm too hyped. Last night was too much of a vibe that I couldn't fall asleep. And I'm definitely feeling the ramifications of it today. But it was worth it. It's all worth it. And I think it will be worth it for the 49ers in the long run. So really excited. Smash that like button on your way out if you haven't already. You already know content's going to be going up. Appreciate you guys as always tapping in, and it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. I'll see you guys on Sunday, and we'll get after it again. You guys are the best. Shout out to SDS. We out. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to